It's not a good afternoon at all, no. We're doing an extensive amount of engineering work over the Christmas and New Year break. 11,000 engineers out there working on many sites, and 2 of them have gone very badly wrong from last night and through this morning. We had some equipment failures at just north of King's Cross in some work we were doing, and I decided to put in an alternative plan yesterday afternoon for this morning. It took a bit of time to settle down because I didn't have the capacity into King's Cross from the work that I expected, and it's been a very difficult time for passengers there, queuing 2 or 3 hours in order to get on a train and get away. That has settled down now. The queues at Finsbury Park, I think, are largely gone, and Transport for London have done an excellent job in helping us out by moving people on the tube system. And as soon as I finish this interview, we'll be back looking at the work we have to do through the night to get it ready for tomorrow. Paddington, a very difficult signalling problem in some expansion work that we're doing there, and again we didn't bring the service back as we should have done. Overall, I have run about 10,000 trains today, but we've let people badly down at those 2 stations.
Well, yes, and some people will say surely this was avoidable. At what stage did you know that works were going to overrun? Shouldn't better contingency plans be put into place sooner?
I have put the contingency plans into place because I lost capacity to King's Cross, as I said earlier. The contingency plan is to do what we did.
But the contingency plan wasn't adequate, was it? Apologies for interrupting, but the contingency plan didn't really work, did it?
In the circumstances, if you let me finish, please. In the circumstances we were in yesterday, I hoped to have capacity to run 5 trains an hour to King's Cross. It became very clear yesterday afternoon that that wouldn't happen, so we worked with the train operators and Transport for London through the rest of Boxing Day and through the night to put in an alternative plan. And in those circumstances, the only plan we do have, which is what we did, which is to run 2 trains an hour into Finsbury Park and ask people to transfer there and go on the tube. Very difficult for them. A lot of queuing, a lot of difficult times for people who are not familiar necessarily with the railway, have got a lot of luggage and so on. That did take time to settle down. We are through the worst of that. But in those circumstances, those are the contingency plans we can put in place when the project work goes wrong and I don't get the capacity back that I was expecting.
Finsbury Park Station is a lot smaller, isn't it, than King's Cross? It was always going to struggle, wasn't it? I mean, how many extra staff, for example, were there to try and help?
I think quite a lot, and TfL, Transport for London, helped us out a lot as well. I put in extra staff there last night and this morning. We did a lot of work through social media to explain what issues we were having and what alternatives there might be. And that's what we do in these circumstances. It served us very well through all the difficulties of the storms last year, and that's again what we've done in the last 24 hours. What we will do now is look again at all the very extensive programme of engineering work we have over Christmas and the New Year, the many sites to expand and develop the railways, and make sure as we possibly can that we return the railway back on time in all the different places we're working out across the country, both in the next few days and for the big return to work on the 5th of January. It is a very difficult balance between trying to run a service and trying to expand the railway. Every year we have this debate about when is the least worst time to do it, and now is the least worst time to do it compared with the huge volumes we shift when people are normally back at work. We got it badly wrong today in 2 of those locations compared with the many that we are working on throughout the network. For that I can only apologise, because I realise I've been around the network today and I've seen just how difficult it has been for everybody, and we will look again at our planning and our contingencies. An alternative, to be honest, is to shut the railway for longer to get this engineering work done. What we're trying to do is move as many people by rail, not by bus, while we're working on the railway in real time. What you might call brownfield operations instead of a greenfield site. It is difficult rebuilding a Victorian railway and still dealing and managing the many people who want to use it. It's a difficult balance, and I can only apologise for getting it very badly wrong at 2 locations in London today.
And I think you will agree that the British public are generally pretty forgiving and pretty patient people. If they're given adequate information, they understand that works can sometimes overrun. I think a lot of people would say today, though, they would have liked a bit more warning to make alternative plans. They weren't happy with the contingency plans not quite meeting their needs. And the lack of information seems to have been a huge problem amongst people travelling today.
Yeah.
Not only amongst those people at Finsbury Park who said they just weren't told what was going on. They were waiting out in the cold. The doors came down, they weren't allowed into the station, they didn't know what was happening. And also people on trains who are coming down from Scotland and other parts of the country who simply didn't know if their train was going to be able to get to its destination.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I've seen it for myself today. The plans we've put in place and the excellent social media from Transport for London, just as much as ourselves and the train operators, we did try to explain what happens. It is a very tight station to move that volume of people with, compared with the concourse behind me at King's Cross. So at times you do have to put in some difficult crowd management measures, like you have to close the station a bit and leave people queuing, standing on the platforms outside, because of the relatively narrow passageways you've got there, rolling luggage and so on. So it was very difficult middle of the day. People were having to wait 2 or 3 hours, and I'm sure some people will ring in and say they waited even longer from that. We got the queues down to about an hour or so ago, and I've just been told that the queues have largely gone now and people are managing to get where they want. Of course, they will be 2 or 3 hours late reaching their destination tonight. As I say, I can only apologise for that. We tried to put in the best contingency plan we could in the circumstances. We will be working throughout the night to bring back the extra capacity so that we can give people a proper journey originating from here at King's Cross to the north, and when they come to London they turn up here as well, instead of being putting on the tube system at Finsbury Park.
Robin Gisby from Network Rail, we appreciate your time. Thank you.